That's right. Hot and Tech is back. Jesse K, Tat Wizard. We're here to talk about innovative technology and making sure the trolls have something to do. Now today, I know I always say I got something special, but today we really do have some innovative technology. It is a device that is being realized as augmented reality audio. Today I have Noah Craft from Doppler Labs in the building, and we're here to talk about the Here 1.
Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
No problem. Now just explain it to, I know about it, Jesse knows about it. Explain it to the people.
Yeah,
exactly.
so we're Doppler Labs. The basic concept behind the company is we want to make the world sound more beautiful and give you more control over how you hear, right? And so what we started with, to what you mentioned, is a product called Hear Active Listening.
Right.
And Hear Active Listening was a concept car product. We made about 15,000 units, put it out beginning of 2016, and it had one major function, which is audio augmented reality, and change the way you hear the world. So that's everything from volume control, turn up your world up or down. You could add effects, put reverb on your ears, bass, like a studio almost, portable studio. You could have a 5-band EQ, so you could up the bass, turn down the mids, turn up the trebs, so a perfect mix. And then the last thing were these presets that either let you tune in. So we had, for example, a Carnegie Hall filter that created the EQ of Carnegie Hall, or a subway mode that actually takes out the subway screech with targeted reduction. So the idea is digital ears, superhuman hearing, people call it bionics. Like, it's really about pushing the power of our ears are these devices that are on 24 hours a day, and right now, unlike a lot of our other senses, right, some people wear glasses, some people wear sunglasses, you may add some salt, you may add some spice, I may want, like, our ears are just on, and we want to give people the control to be able to have their own preference and really control that. And so what we announced 4 weeks ago is the evolution of that product. So this is the product that's available by the end of the year, called Here 1.
And we'll get into that. I've got the originals. These came out right before South by.
Yep.
And these were just such a wild experience. Just so different, very trippy. I was in Carnegie Hall. I did get the echo effects. The original purpose of these is obviously all these amazing effects, but is it to create an enhanced music experience?
It's a great question. So we Hear Active Listening was definitely designed with live music in mind, and to be able to give people the power to really be their own mixer, right? And one of the reasons we did that is creating a product that can withstand and hold up to the nature of music, right? It has to be really natural quality, it has to be zero latency, and it has to be high fidelity, right? It's one thing to take away a screech, it's another thing to be able to process audio at such a high quality that you feel comfortable wearing this product in your ears when you go to a live show, because it has to sound perfect. And so to your point, we brought on experts. Hans Zimmer's an investor, Quincy Jones is an investor, Mark Ronson's an investor, Mikkel Erickson. We put together these great people who said, look, not only do we love what we're doing, but it's at our standard. And so yes, the first product was definitely optimized for live music, but what's really interesting is we put it out there, we partnered with Coachella, we were just at Panorama, but the number one reason people are coming to us is actually open offices, reducing noise there, and then number two is commuting. So it's really interesting to see, even though we put it out as a live music product, people are actually using it in much more kind of day-to-day situations.
Can you talk to us about the concept of augmented reality hearing and what this space looks like and where it's going?
So augmented reality is slowly becoming a thing, right? Everyone's
It's
been talking
bigger
about
now that Pokemon
Go, right? Which is so funny
crazy.
that, like, not only is that visual, it's a game, right?
Right.
With VR, everyone knows about it obviously because of Oculus, but we think augmented reality is going to be a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Layers on your world, and for us, we think augmented audio is the future, right? I don't know if you've seen the film Her, or Star Trek does all that live translation stuff. Like, the idea that there could be something in your ear that's doing a lot of the processing, there's a lot of cool things about that. One, it's discreet, right? Google Glass, the reason it didn't work, it looked awful, but also it created a lot of social distortion, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, we think that, you know the images of the 80s with the guy with the brick phone, right?
Yeah.
The idea of, like, someone walking around texting, like, it's not a very human thing, right? And so we think the idea, if you can put a computer in your ear and use voice a lot more, imagine we're sitting here right now and I'm like, you know, later today I need to go to dinner with my wife. The system, as we envision it, could be smart enough to be like, hey, it pings your assistant, she makes a reservation, and all this happens without you touching anything. It just picks up your voice and knows what to do, right? And so that really gets to the core. Our company is really interested in making computing more human, because there's a future in which computers are much more part of our existence, but in a way that is not so kind of, you know, removed from the human experience. And we hope that audio augmented reality, specifically because your ears are on 24 hours a day. We forget that, right? Like, The reason they're on 24 hours a day is you used to have to hear the bear coming into your cave while your eyes were closed, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't need to happen anymore. Right now, it's like, what happens at night? Someone's snoring. You don't need to hear that.
Tune that out.
Exactly.
People aren't going to sleep with these on.
So not this version, but we do, the long-term goal is a product that's 24/7. And to your point, maybe there's a soft one and a hard one. And the soft one is only, baby crying, truck backing up, and snoring, right? Limited feature set so we can make it smaller. And of course, these are just hypotheticals, but in our world, in the vision of our world, you never hear noise again. Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of headphones and so forth, right? Apple is getting ready to introduce a new iPhone.
Yeah.
As we know, iPhone is kind of the leader in the smartphone spaces when it comes to what's going on in technology. Even though Samsung and Androids are often more innovative than Apple, Apple's more popular. So wireless headphones are getting ready to be the thing of the future anyway, right? But the biggest concern we've seen on social media about this is they're so small, I'm going to lose them.
Sure.
Do you guys have a safeguard?
It's a great question. We talk about this all the time. So the first thing you got to start with is a lot of these companies aren't working on fit as much as they should be. They're just cramming all this stuff in and saying, oh, it looks nice, we'll put it in people's...
Right.
Fit is essential. And as we talked about before, we actually started with an earplug. So this is our third in-ear product. And even with our earplug, we were at about 92% fit. With our next product, because we shipped with 3 different sizes, we were up to about 97. So we've actually worked on the ergonomics of fit a lot. That being said, despite the fact that we know the product will fit well, there's a psychological component, right? Even if it does fit, you're like, damn, this is $300. It might fall out of my ears. So we are working on accessories like cords, hooks, things like that. Okay. More for the psychological of like, hey, you spent a lot of money, we want to give you an extra thing. But what I'd say for anyone making it, you have to start with the ear is a weird place.
Yeah.
It is an odd shaped thing. And so there's a lot of things you can do with materials, with sizing to really make sure it fits. And then again, it won't fit everyone. You just got to get it pretty good.
How does the average person get this? Like, I know you mentioned that the first one was invite only, or you were giving them away at Coachella for certain people.
Yeah.
But how does the average person get their hands on it?
Great. So what we talked about before was Hear Active Listening. What's available for pre-order is Hear One. So what Hear One is Hear Active Listening was the audio augmented reality concept car. So we took all that crazy noise reduction
stuff.
stuff.
Does it still look like these?
So it's a souped up version of that.
Nice.
There's more metal. There's some magnets. The whole thing. Like, we
Amazing.
basically took it and said, how do we make it more premium? And
Yeah.
so it'll look similar. Like the form's the same, but it's definitely blinged out a little bit, which is nice.
Great.
With Hear One, you get all that stuff, but then it's more advanced. We were talking about it gets more selective, the noise reduction.
Right.
But then what we've added is full headphone functionality. So now you can stream Spotify. You get or Apple Music or Tidal, whatever your jam is. You can take phone calls. You can access a smart assistant, which we think is going to get bigger and bigger, Siri, Alexa. You can also, what we get really excited about is we want to make this a social product, right? And so what we did is when you combine that streaming functionality with our augmented reality, you get some really cool stuff. Like imagine going to a baseball game, going to a Yankee game, hearing stats in your right ear at 20%, hearing some commentary, but still hearing your friends in the world around you. And you can adjust all of it, right? Or going to a museum and hearing that commentary. Or even at Panorama, we envision a world where like you're watching one stage and then something just dings in your ears like, hey, SZA's on in 10 minutes at the other stage. And you're like,
I got to see
done.
That. Yeah.
And it's just subtle and it's quiet. No one else around you needs to know it, but it's enough to be like, okay, that makes my world a little better. So that's how we start envisioning the future.
Incredible. So what's the price point?
So Hear One is available for pre-order. It's available at hearplus.me. We'll give you all this information. It's $299, and it'll be shipping in holiday.
Okay.
So the idea is, the reason frankly, a lot of people wanted us to price it higher, but we don't want you to think, like, this should be a headphone replacement and then some. So when you go out and buy something this holiday, you should go buy this just because it's going to be a kick-ass wireless headphone, right? And then all that other stuff is extra that'll really make it so you can cancel noise and do all this other stuff that hopefully you'll use more and more.
So, okay, just in case you don't understand, like, so our community, right, $299 is going to be a high price.
Sure, and we're aware of it.
But they have to understand that, like you just said, it's not just, okay, as headphones for my iPhone or Android. It's something that could possibly last you into an older person, becomes your hearing aid.
100%. So it's not a medical device,
right,
but it could become something that allows you to amplify the world,
right,
and hear the world the way you want to hear it, right? But to your point, like, Yes, it's expensive. We're very aware of that. $299 is not cheap. Your earpods are going to still be, even if they don't have the headphone jack, right? They'll still be in the $30 to $40 price range.
Right.
That being said, Beats and a lot of these other companies have set the standard where $299, $399, $499 for a high quality pair of headphones.
That is only headphones.
Right. And so we're going to hold ourselves to at least that standard for a headphone, and now it's wireless, and then some. And so that's kind of how we thought about it. Not saying it's cheap, but it's comparable is the way we look at it.
It's the quality of life that you want. You have to pay for it. So if you're complaining about the price point, understandable, but it's what you want to do with your quality of life.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So real quick, what's the charge like on it, right? It's
Great
wireless. You have the case is the charger.
Yeah, so here I'll
how long does it take to charge, and how long does it last?
So you get 6 hours in the buds, and then you get 2 full additional charges in the case, and then you got to plug it into the wall. But this is 18 hours. Now with HiT 1, when you start streaming, it goes down, so it's more like 3 to 4 hours, still with 2 additional charges. So let's say in worst case scenario with HiT 1, you get 10 hours with this little thing you can put in your pocket, and then plug it into the wall in an hour, you get it all the way back.
Well, Noah, I'm so glad you came today to break this down for us.
Thank you.
I say this a lot, but this really will change the world. You know, once everybody can afford it, or as technology changes and the price comes down.
Yeah.
I don't see why everybody won't want a pair of these.
I really appreciate that, and I think, to your point, one of the things we're trying to go for is the ears are a special place, right? They're one of our most powerful senses, and it's something you got to protect, and it's something that you want to keep, ripe till you're very old.
Yes.
And so we're hoping to make a product that's really for all ears, and something that, to your point, you can use over and over to enhance your life just a little bit.
Okay, so real quick, before we wrap up.
Yeah.
We like to try to give to the community. Is there something you can do with the promo code HiT?
Yeah, totally. So if you put HiT into our website, hearplus.me, you'll get a discount, and it's our way of giving back. We'd love to do it.
All right, that's so phenomenal, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Noah.
My pleasure, and thank you for having me. It's we're in early days, and this is just the beginning, and the support means a lot. Really
and
appreciate it.
And I've seen this growth. There's just been, even in a year, what you've been able to accomplish, and with this new iteration coming out, it's about to be really game on.
Thank you, man. And
we'll have you back as soon as you break some more records and it sells out.
Totally. We'll bring HiT 1 back, and we can all try it out together.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
HiT.